like a possibility that they're saying could be a possibility. A lot of the insiders for the Patriots are kind of brushing it to the side. Pretty much what it would have to be is for it to even happen in the first place. The Patriots would have to, obviously, it'd be part of it would be a trade package. You would have to trade probably, I would assume, a guy like Mac Jones. So the Ravens will have a quarterback next year, probably Mac Jones packaged with, I would assume, a first round draft pick, and then you would have to guarantee Lamar Jackson like something in the range of like 190 to 210 million, something like that, over a certain amount of years, maybe like 4. Maybe they could even get him for like 3, and it could be like 100 million guaranteed or something like that. And obviously that's a big commitment that you would have to make, and that's why the Patriots they're thinking about maybe not, maybe this, maybe that. The fact of the matter here with the New England Patriots is that offensively they are dull, unbelievably dull. You don't have really any weapons at all. When they sign receivers, they seem to sign like backup receivers or like third option guys to be first guys. Um, Offensively, they continue to whiff in the draft. Quarterback wise, I don't think Mac Jones is a bad quarterback, but I think he's a very similar quarterback to like a Baker or like uh, a Wentz, or for them to be good, everything else has to be great. The offense has to be great. Like, if you put Mac Jones into San Francisco, obviously he's going to do decent, like Brock Purdy did. Yeah, if you put them places with weapons, they're going to succeed. But as good as the Patriots' defense is, and as good as it's coached, because they don't even have star guys really on defense. They got some good players, but they don't have like the biggest breakout stars. They have a really good defensive scheme, game plan. Belichick, he's been doing defenses. He's been winning championships with this defense since like the late '80s. So like he knows what he's doing. But offensively, it seems like he's like kind of brushing it to the side, because you see, with all those years, he had some great offensive coordinator talents, and he had a guy like Brady who was just a winner. So he wasn't really the mastermind behind the offense. And now he's getting to a point where, you know, it's tough for him offensively, because he had that awful bomb with putting Matt Patricia, the defensive guy, as the offensive guy because he thought he knew more about the game. It's stuff like that. And I think that if you look at this roster, the way the Patriots are currently aligned, I mean, they'll win you 8 games, 7, 8, 9 games. They'll win. Maybe you'll slide into a wild card if you're lucky. They just don't have the guns to get there. And if you bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson, you solve the speed issues and you solve the elusive issues. You become faster. You become more athletic instantly. Lamar Jackson takes this team from a 9-win team to a possible Super Bowl team. That's how serious it is. If he's healthy, which I think is the only question to doing this. But this is something like, if you don't take this risk, then you're going to win 8, 9 games, and you're just going to have another so-so year. Belichick's talked about wanting to coach till he breaks the record. I think he's like 33 wins away. If they continue at that 8 games a year kind of thing, it's like 4 more years. Do you really want a repeat of 8 and 9, 9 and 8 for 4 more years? That's all they are. They're not elusive enough. They're not quick enough. They don't have the athleticism. You bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson, solves all your problems. You got to guarantee him some money. Yeah, you do. Who else are you paying offensively is one thing you got to think about. It's the first thing you got to think about. You got to think about how easy it is to sign like veteran receivers to put around him. They could build this offense around him very seamlessly. But if they don't do it, you know, how much longer is Belichick's methods, going to work in the NFL? Because I saw it last year, stale. It's getting stale. I mean, the defense, obviously, they're going to play a good game. They're not the reason that they haven't gotten to mediocrity is because as bad as their offense is, their defense is well coached. So they're at a point where they're not going to get blown out in games. So when they lose, it's usually close because the defense holds their end. What their offense just plays like crap. It took in that game against the Jets where Zach Wilson played his worst game ever. That game was still like tied the entire game until miraculously on special teams, not offense, a guy returned a kick to win the game. And we bashed the Jets again and again and again. Bashed Zach Wilson. That was probably the last game Zach Wilson will ever start for the Jets. Bashed him. We didn't bash the Patriots. Why did we not bash the offensive guys on the Patriots? Makes no sense, right? Because people don't want to blame Bill Belichick. They don't want to be like he's the problem. When clearly, when you get to a certain age and when you get that old, especially in the NFL, you put a lot of yes men around you. You put a lot of guys that and you like guys that are going to do whatever you say, and he's going to try to do. Bill Belichick himself, he's going to try to do things the same way he did them 20 years ago, same way he did them 10 years ago, same way he did them 40 years ago. And in reality, you got to adapt in this league because he's starting to seem old now because he's not adapting. He's not making that adaptation to what the future of the NFL is, which is an offensive game. You look at all the players and the coaches in the playoffs. I think there was only like 2 defensive coaches in the entire postseason. Only like 2 defensive coaches. You can't win in this league anymore without at least a viable to good offense. Well, not even viable. You need a good offense. It doesn't have to be great, but it has to be good. Like, I understand that we cherish the 85 Bears and the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. I get it. And even the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we're living in a different era right now. And if you want to win Super Bowls, if you're the Patriots, you got to bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson. You got to pay and you got to take the risk. And you know what is the worst thing that happens if it fails? The worst thing that happens if it fails. Patriots are a billions to billions of dollars organization. How much is $200 million going to affect them? To us, sounds crazy. Sounds like, oh my gosh, $200 million. To them, that is like, it's not that much money. It's like $20,000 to them. It's not that much money. It's not gonna. The franchise isn't gonna fold because of it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Sometimes you gotta take the risk. And if they don't take the risk, we're looking at 9-8 until Belichick's there. Slowly but surely, without Brady, it's looking like they're starting to revert back to who they were pre-Brady, which was mediocrity. So we'll see.